Have you ever heard the saying, you get what you pay for? Well, I just lived through the most extreme example of that, and the story is too good not to share. It all started with a fantastic client, a fast-growing tech company with an amazing CEO. We were crushing it together, hitting every target, and the future looked bright. Then one day, out of the blue, I get the call. You know the one. The "we're going in a different direction" call. They told me they found another specialist. Someone who could do the same job for a fraction of my price. A fraction. I was shocked, a little hurt, but hey, business is business. I wished them the best, handed over all my files, and did a professional offboarding. I genuinely hoped it would work out for them, so I moved on. I focused on my other clients, started new projects, and honestly, almost forgot about the whole thing. Life goes on, right? Days turned into weeks. And then, exactly 30 days later, my phone rings. I see the caller ID, and my jaw just about hits the floor. It was the CEO. I hesitated for a second, then answered. The first thing I heard on the other end wasn't a hello, but a deep, exhausted sigh. He sounded completely defeated. "We messed up," he said. "We really, really messed up. Can you talk?" Of course I said yes. I'm a professional, but I'm also human, and my curiosity was through the roof. What could have possibly gone so wrong in just 30 days? He started explaining, and the story that unfolded was a masterclass in how cheaper can become exponentially more expensive. The new specialist they hired came in with big promises and an even bigger ego. They immediately started tearing down the systems and strategies we had built, calling them outdated and inefficient. They wanted to reinvent the wheel, to put their own stamp on everything, without taking any time to understand why things were set up the way they were. The first red flag for the CEO was the communication, or rather, the lack of it. This new person was a ghost. Emails went unanswered for days. When they did reply, it was with one-word answers. They missed scheduled meetings and provided zero reports on their progress. The CEO was completely in the dark. Remember how we used to have those weekly check-ins and detailed progress reports? Yeah, that was all gone, replaced by silence and a growing sense of dread in the company. Then the performance metrics started to tank. Website traffic fell off a cliff. The ad campaigns we had so carefully optimized were suddenly losing money, hand over fist. Conversion rates, which had been steadily climbing, plummeted to an all-time low. The new specialist's revolutionary strategy was apparently to just burn through the marketing budget with no discernible plan. It was like watching a slow-motion car crash, and the CEO was strapped in the passenger seat with no way to grab the wheel. The team's morale went down with the metrics. My former points of contact within the company were frustrated and confused. The new specialist was dismissive of their input and created a toxic, blame-heavy environment. Instead of collaborating, they dictated. The synergy we had built was completely shattered. Good people were starting to update their resumes. A company's culture is fragile, and it was being dismantled piece by piece. The breaking point, the CEO told me, was a massive, public-facing error. A botched product launch announcement that was full of typos and incorrect information went out to their entire email list. It was a brand nightmare. It made them look amateurish and unprofessional, undoing months of hard work we had put into building their brand authority. That's when the CEO knew he had to pull the plug. The cheaper specialist had cost them revenue, brand reputation, and employee morale. The financial savings were a drop in the ocean compared to the damage that had been done. So he called me. Not just to vent, but with a question. "Can you help us fix this?" He was humble. He was honest. He admitted the mistake was driven by pressure from his board to cut costs, and he had learned a very hard lesson. Now I had a decision to make. Do I go back? Do I say I told you so? No, that's not my style. I saw a partner who was in trouble, and a project I genuinely cared about that was on fire. We talked for a long time. I laid out what it would take to get things back on track. It wouldn't be easy. It would be like a rescue mission. We'd have to do damage control, rebuild the campaigns from the ground up, and work to restore the team's confidence. I also made it clear that my rates were non-negotiable. This time, there would be no discussion about finding a cheaper option. He agreed immediately. He said, I'm not paying for your time anymore. I'm paying for peace of mind. I'm paying for results. And that right there is the key. And, so what's the moral of this story? It's not about being the most expensive. It's about providing overwhelming value. It's about being a partner, not just a vendor. When you deliver real results, when you make your client's life easier and their business better, you become an investment, not an expense. For any business owners watching, remember that the cheapest option is rarely the best one. Look for value, look for partnership, look for expertise. Cutting corners on core aspects of your business can end up costing you everything. For all the freelancers, consultants, and creators out there, this is a reminder to know your worth. Don't be afraid to charge for your expertise. Focus on delivering so much value that your price becomes a no-brainer. Be the person they can't afford to lose, not the one they can easily replace. In the end, we did go back. We're in the middle of the cleanup process now. It's a lot of work, but the ship is turning around, the metrics are starting to climb back up, and the team is energized again. The CEO and I have an even stronger relationship now, built on a foundation of mutual respect and a very memorable lesson. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever had a similar experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from the world of business and marketing. See you in the next one.